It is Monday, December 28th, 2020, and you were tuned into DIRTRACKR Daily. I'm Justin Fiedler. Today on the show, we've got results from this morning's racing from down under. Clauson Marshall rounded out their Chili Bowl lineup. We've got some important health rules for the Tulsa Shootout and Chili Bowl and more. But first, this episode is brought to you by Blood Lubricants. Blood carries a high-performance line of synthetic racing oils, and they've got you covered for all sorts of dirt racing applications. Engine oils, gear oils, suspension fluid, cleaning products, you name it, they've got it. Sprint car driver and soon-to-be World of Outlaws Ricky Stenhouse Jr. uses Blood products. He says since switching to the Bloodline, they have seen significant improvements in their engines and rear ends after putting them to the test night in and night out under extreme load and heat. They've got a great racer support program that offers discounts on products plus free swag, and they support hundreds of racers across many divisions throughout the country. To check out the support program, find out more information, or to buy, visit bloodlubricants.com. That's BLUD lubricants.com. If you'd like to receive 25% off most products, use code DIRT at checkout. That's DIRT, all caps, at checkout. If you're up early this morning, you might have seen there was some racing going on down under. Flow Racing had live coverage from Western Springs in New Zealand. In the sprint car feature at Western Springs, Michael Pickens dominated early, but a late move from Jonathan Allard looked like it might have been the race-winning pass. But a restart with 2 laps to go changed everything. At the drop of the green flag, Pickens made a move to the outside of Allard into turns 1 and 2, but down the backstretch, Allard didn't appear to know that Pickens was there. He moved up into Pickens, forcing both cars into the wall and out of the race. Pickens very clearly had damage. Allard spun into the outside wall. That handed the lead to third-place running Ryan O'Connor, who held off the field over the final 2 laps to take the win. In the night's midget feature, there was a huge pileup into Turn 1 on the first lap that collected at 7 or 8 cars right at the front of the field. Big yard sale. Once things settled out, though, it was all Michael Pickens out front. He led every lap en route to the win. If you'd like to see the highlights and replays of these races, you can find them on Flow Racing with your subscription. In Sprint Car Speed Week action at Perth Motorplex on Dirt Vision, the headlining 410 Sprint Cars put on a great show with James McFadden holding off Brock Zierfoss, like we just talked about, Brock Zierfoss, in the final lap to take round 2 of the week. Callan Williamson won the 410 Sprint Car Speed Week opener back on Saturday. Speed Week continues January 1st at Bunbury Speedway, January 2nd at Ellenbrook Speedway, and then Dirt Vision will be back live again on January 6th for round 5 from the Perth Motorplex. You can find those events on the DIRTRACKR streaming schedule as well. In the days since our last episode, back on Thursday before Christmas, Clauson Marshall Racing has filled out the remainder of their Chili Bowl. Joining Tyler Courtney, Cole Bodine, and Ryan Newman are 2 more drivers, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., as we expected and as we talked about last week, and Chance Crum. Stenhouse finished 7th in a Saturday C-Main in 2020, but does have 3 main event appearances in recent years, including in 2019, 2017, and 2016. He has a best finish of 16th. He also has 2 top 5 finishes in recent prelim nights. Chance Crum ran the final 2 USAC nights at Merced to close out the 2020 season for Clauson Marshall and will be making his 2nd appearance at the Chili Bowl. He finished 8th in a Saturday D-Main in 2020 along with a 17th place result on his prelim night. Crum is a racer from Washington, spent 2020 racing sprint cars, micros, midgets, and more, and picked up 14 wins. So 2 nice additions there to the Clauson Marshall lineup. Those 5 drivers will certainly be ones to keep an eye on. You got to think Tyler Courtney is going to be right at the top of the list of Chili Bowl favorites, especially with the season he had in USAC. As we get closer to Chili Bowl and those Lonnie Wheatley pool picks, don't forget to check out that Chili Bowl stats and results pages in the analytics section of DIRTRACKR.com. Over the weekend, I added 2 more years of Chili Bowl results. So there are now 8 years of results and stats available, basically from 2020 all the way back through 2013. Besides the stat breakdowns and 42 pages of results to peruse, there are also individual pages for nearly 900 drivers who have competed at the Chili Bowl in recent years. If you go to the analytics section, just kind of scroll down to the bottom left is where that Chili Bowl results section is. If you click on the drivers, and get a full list of all the drivers in alphabetical order that you can then click on to then see, all of those individual driver pages. And then also, if you're looking at the stat breakdowns or the individual results, you can click through to those drivers to see those driver pages as well. I don't have prelim night stats on those driver pages at this moment, but I will certainly add those here pretty quickly as well. Should be helpful when you go to make those group picks in that Lonnie Wheatley Chili Bowl pool. And speaking of the Chili Bowl and the Tulsa Shootout, which actually starts this Wednesday, the events and the Tulsa Health Department are not messing around with their mask policy. Masks that cover the nose and mouth are required at both events, and if attendees are unwilling to follow that rule, they will be escorted from the building. Competition Director Matt Ward said if the mask rule isn't followed well during the Tulsa Shootout, that the Health Department has threatened to cancel the Chili Bowl. So it doesn't matter where your opinion on the issue lies. It's just important to understand that the cost of attending the Chili Bowl and the Tulsa Shootout this year is to wear that mask. Period, end of conversation. Between the event organizers and all of the hundreds and hundreds of race teams and people and drivers and sponsors, there's a lot of work and a lot of money that get put into making these events happen. So if you plan on going, please, please, please do not be the reason why these events get canceled. If you don't like the rule, don't want to follow it, that's fine. The answer is simple. Just don't go to the event. So let's make sure these events go off without issue, please. There will be a new Dirt Tracker Conversations episode out today. This one features Circle City Raceway's General Manager Jonathan Bird. In our nearly about 40-minute chat, we talked about the creation of Circle City and kind of all that is on tap for the track in its upcoming first season. We also dug into the Bird family's legacy in motorsports, which includes a lot of appearances at the Indianapolis 500, their support of dirt racers throughout the years. We talked about taking Brian Clauson to the Indy 500 and a lot more. You can find that episode in this podcast feed and on the Dirt Tracker YouTube channel here a little bit later today. The streaming schedule is starting to pick back up now that Christmas is over. There were 2 shows early this morning from Down Under, which we talked about, and more to come this week. Between now and Sunday, there are 13 different events streaming across the different platforms. That includes the Tulsa Shootout, which I said starts on Wednesday on Flow Racing. DIRTRACKR Esports action is going on again on Dirt Vision. There's more racing from Australia and New Zealand coming up, and there's racing from Cochrane Motor Speedway and 411 Motor Speedway towards the weekend as well. You can keep up with that streaming schedule every day at DIRTRACKR.com/watch tonight. And speaking of flow racing, a kind of quick note about flow and the Chili Bowl. I've seen a lot of kind of discussion about this topic. Before this year, the Chili Bowl was streamed live on Racing Boys all week long before action then moved over to MAV TV later on Saturday night. Individual days on Racing Boys cost $29.99, while the entire week was $144.99. To watch this year, you will need a full subscription to Flow Racing, which costs about $150 for the year. Might sound like a high initial price, but when you factor in what you'll get for the year, that $150 is an absolute bargain. Don't let that number sway you from signing up and being able to watch the Chili Bowl. You will basically get an entire year of racing content, including the Chili Bowl, for about what it costs you for just the 6 nights of the Chili Bowl in 2020. Action on Saturday night will again move over to MAV TV Live as it has in the past as well. Don't let that sway you either. That's been commonplace. If your cable or streaming service doesn't have MAV TV, check out Fubo TV and YouTube TV. Both of those streaming services carry MAV, so you can make sure you don't miss out on those last couple of events on Saturday night. I believe it's the C's, B's, and the A that will move over to MAV TV. But a lot of value on that Flow Racing deal. So, again, look at it more like it's, if you spread that $150 out over the year, all of the literally hundreds of nights of racing that you're going to get across Flow from USAC, from the All-Stars, IRA, the Chili Bowl, Tulsa Shootout, like all of these things, all the late model racing that happens across Flow Racing, that's moved over from Dirt on Dirt as well. So a ton of content is going to be included in that $150. So definitely look into that if you want to watch Chili Bowl. Remember, $150, $145, basically about the same price. So it's like, do you want 6 nights of racing for the Chili Bowl, or do you want the whole year? I think it's important to understand that distinction. That's it for the show today. Hope everybody has a good Monday. You can find Dirt Tracker Daily on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or where you get podcasts. Please subscribe and leave a review. You can also watch the show every day on YouTube and Facebook. You can follow along at facebook.com/DirtTracker, twitter.com/DirtTracker, and the website itself, DirtTracker.com. You can follow me personally on Twitter at Justin_Fiedler, and you can email the show at info@DirtTracker.com. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow for more Dirt Tracker Daily.